HomeShare is a service that matches people who have a spare room and need a bit of support with people looking for somewhere to live and able to give that support. They are a non-profit organisation that has over 10 years of experience of delivering the HomeShare service across the UK. Cornwall Council is partnering with Supportmatch and Cornwall's Voluntary Sector Forum to deliver the HomeShare service with the aim of reducing loneliness, providing practical support and affordable accommodation. I'm here with Councillor Ollie Monk, Cornwall Council's lead Cabinet Member for Housing, Councillor Andy Vere, Cornwall Council's Cabinet Lead for Adult Social Care and Health, and Ziara De Novellis and Sybil Whitehead, the Managing Directors and Co-Founders of Supportmatch HomeShare. Nice to meet you all. How are you today?
Nice to meet you too. We're very well.
Wonderful.
Good morning.
Well.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Great to be here.
To kick things off, Ollie, could you please tell us about the housing situation in Cornwall?
So I think it's well documented, the issues we now have in Cornwall with many aspects of housing, and I think a lot of these issues have been decades in the making. And I think what we found in the last couple of years is with the aftermath of the pandemic, it really acted as a catalyst to highlight the inequality that we've got across the housing market, and really highlights how we haven't got enough council housing or social housing, and how delicate it is to rely on the private rented sector to provide the housing that we need, especially when landlords are facing lots of added problems themselves and the attractiveness of selling up their properties, taking profit or flipping them into the more lucrative Airbnb market. So we've seen a real big increase of individuals and families needing the council's help in finding them adequate accommodation.
Wonderful. And Andy, what about the social care needs in Cornwall?
Yeah, thank you. So we have a very busy and under considerable pressure health and social care system. We have, compared to sort of the national average, an older population. In Cornwall, it's a very popular retirement destination, and so we have a constant need for people to get support with caring. We run about sort of 10% vacancy rate in our domiciliary care. That's people who go into people's homes to provide personal care. But actually, there's a huge amount of people that actually, with just a little bit of extra support, we can help them to remain independent and in their own homes and in their communities. And that's what people want. They would rather be in their own home than perhaps going into long-term care. That's their wish.
Wonderful. Sybil and Ziara, could you tell us one at a time about the Supportmatch HomeShare service and how this could potentially help alleviate some of the challenge that have just been outlined?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Well, Supportmatch HomeShare has been providing the HomeShare service all across the UK for the last 10 years. And we now, have this wonderful partnership with the Cornwall Council and the Voluntary Sector Forum in providing the HomeShare service all across Cornwall. The project, is the pilot which started last year and has been now extended, has proven to be very successful. We also hit our initial target in fewer months than what we were supposed to. So what we do really, we just provide affordable care to senior citizens who would like to live more independently and to remain at home. And on the other hand, we're actually providing affordable accommodation for people who are really struggling. And if you think that, many senior citizens will probably need a little bit of help at home, but as well as they will have this housing stock, these rooms that will not be used otherwise. And that's all we do really. Supportmatch HomeShare facilitate this arrangement between two parties in helping each other and helping the community as a whole.
Wonderful. And Sybil?
We have supported residents with health and social care and also housing needs over the 10 years. And now we are very proud to working directly with Cornwall Council and providing. I would like to talk about who is our householders and home sharers. So our householders can be anyone who needs support at home with simple tasks like cooking, shopping, cleaning, and more than anything, overnight security. property, and also they have a spare room to offer someone can live with them. And home sharers can be anyone age over 18 and who has some spare time and willing to make change for difference for the other people's life. The arrangements of volunteering and is aimed to establish meaningful relationship between two parties. So we are just putting two people together in a mutual beneficial to cohabitation. So we have got, while we're doing that, we want to make sure that safeguard two parties, especially householders and the home sharers, and we have got safeguarding policies in place.
Wonderful. And what requirements have you supported the residents with?
We have supported the residents with a number of requirements. As mentioned before, we have been tackling the support, the affordable support, the affordability for the support for senior citizens, as well as, of course, affordable accommodation. We have obviously we have people who come to us with issues such as isolation, loneliness, lack of social interaction, and also the issue of actually being able to do minimal work within the house, like cooking, cleaning, companionship, shopping. Of course, this arrangement is very flexible and has to work for both parties. So we try to support people throughout. We have a monitoring system, and we support throughout the whole duration of the arrangement. We will be there supporting both parties in helping each other. And of course, on the other hand, the other requirement is of housing, affordable housing. People who come to us will pay an absolutely minimal fee for their accommodation, and in the meantime, they will help someone else, but they will also be able to have a normal life, going to work part-time or full-time, or just being able to study if they wish to do so.
Wonderful. That sounds amazing. And regarding council tax and utility bills, do the householder and the home sharer share this when they are living together?
So under the home share arrangement, the council tax single person discounts may affect it, but which cases? So what we do, we ask a small contribution. We assess every case individually. So please, we ask them to feel free to contact us, and then directly we can just do the assessment.
Wonderful. And we talked a little bit about safeguarding to begin with, but what processes do you have in place to support both the person originally living in the house and those coming in?
So the home share is usually checked by DBS, and then each home shares, and we do the references check, and we interview them initially before they start living with anybody else. So it's a long process what we do, and after we do check that regular contact and make sure they are happy and each party supporting each other, and there is no issue started. So householder case, they have dementia, they live in their own, 90 years old. So we just make sure that family members and then other third parties involved, and they both support it in this case.
Wonderful. This really seems like a great matching service. How would you go about matching some people together?
Well, first of all, what we do, we have, a list of home sharers who are willing to come on board and live with someone and offer their help. When we have a householder who contacts us initially, we will do an initial assessment, and we will make sure that their requirements suit the arrangement, the home share service. What we will do then, we will interview possible candidates, and we will put forward the candidates that we feel might match requirements between each other. Then we will introduce our candidates, and of course it will be absolutely down to the householder to decide the person they would like to live with, because it is very important that there is obviously harmony, and there is a match that is based on many factors such as personality, interests, hobbies, what do they like, how do they like to spend the spare time. These are all very important factors in order for us to match people together. Once the introduction stage is over, they will make a decision if they wish to go ahead. If they do wish to go ahead, Supportmatch HomeShare will make sure they will put all the agreement in place, and the legal arrangement between parties will start. And as I mentioned before, then there will be the monitoring which will be put into place month by month to make sure both parties are happy.
Of course. Could you just run through some of the benefits to the community for running this kind of scheme?
Of course. Well, as it was mentioned before by Councillor Ver and Councillor Monk, Cornwall especially, it has been affected quite highly with the housing crisis and social care crisis. So the Supportmatch HomeShare service, what it does, it provides not only affordable support and affordable accommodation, but it provides a flexible support for the older person, for example, in the house. But what also does, it's a very cost effective to provide some of the care, and it can be supplemented with a care package. What does that actually mean? It means that the professional care sector can actually reduce the amount of care that goes to things which are a little bit more to do with domestic tasks and companionship, and actually concentrate more on the professional care, personal care, medical care. The other benefit for the homeowner, for example, it is the flexibility. Sometimes we know that there are gaps for someone who has, for example, a care package in place. There are gaps in between carers, and those gaps can be quite. The person can actually feel quite lonely, and they can feel quite isolated, because they will need to wait for the next carer to come in order for them maybe to have something to eat or to have a cup of tea. But with someone being in the house, living with them, these kind of gaps, many of those gaps will probably be looked after. For the other side, for the home sharers, is the affordability of accommodation, is to actually live in a prime location, or to be able to actually even accept a job in a different location, so that they can come on the home share arrangement and then don't have to worry about having to meet the rental like the average rental commitments they would be otherwise. Every arrangement lasts between the average is about 18 months, but we also have had matches in place for over 7 years now, and people have found this extremely beneficial. We have had some of our home sharers very happily, actually, they managed to save in order for them to move on and buy their own place after a few years. And we have had householders instead who likely never even needed any further care, and they were absolutely fine with having a home sharer in the house until maybe the day that they might have passed away or move on to a care home if they wish to do so. But some of them have just remained in their own home through the whole time, and this is actually priceless.
That sounds wonderful. Andy and Ollie, we've seen some great points there. It's such a great thing that Cornwall Council is working with the home share scheme. Could you just give us some of your thoughts about it?
I think from our perspective, it's an ideal match, isn't it? It's the ultimate no-brainer. We've got lots of single people who are desperate in need of housing, and we have lots of older people who need to share their house to keep them in that house for as long as possible. Due to their care, what sort of care needs they need. So it's just a really good scheme, and we really are supporting it, and we really wish it the best of success, and we want to make sure that we can get as many people who are finding difficulties in finding housing at the moment into the support match scenarios, and get them matched up with someone who would love to have them in their house to keep them there as long as possible. So we're very much in favour of it, and we wish them all the success, and let's hope we can get as many people as we can into the system and use it as much as we can. There's nothing worse than not being able to find a house, and even worse is that sometimes is when someone's sat rattling around in a house that's got 4 bedrooms that are empty as well. So by putting people together, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, and from an adult social care and health perspective, how would you say?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm really keen to endorse this scheme. Although the companions are not providing sort of personal professional care in the same way that a care worker would, actually being in that house, being that company, being the person that can do some practical things in terms of cooking, cleaning, is of enormous benefit to the resident. And actually, loneliness and anxiety is a real concern. And if you're lonely and anxious, that is bad for your mental health. It also affects your physical condition as well. It means you're more likely to be calling the emergency services, needing the support of your GP, and losing that confidence and independence, which then leads to more frailty. We've had some fantastic feedback from people that have used the scheme in Cornwall. We've heard from relatives that speak of their mum putting on weight because they're now eating regular meals. Their mobility has improved. Their whole outlook on life has changed. And actually, if you're the home care supporter, actually a lot of the time that you're being asked to give is time that you would be spending anyway. You're going to be cooking meals and having some company to do that. If you share a house, you'll always have to take responsibility in doing some cleaning. So actually, it's not an onerous commitment. And actually, how rewarding is that to make a difference to someone who can, enjoy their latter years with much better mental health and much better physical health just by sharing a home, which is really like being a family, isn't it? And something we're really keen to endorse.
Absolutely. It really just seems like a win-win situation on both sides, doesn't it? Talking about matching and things, is it typically a younger person and an older person, or could it be anyone?
It could really be anyone. To be honest, our younger home sharer is at the moment 19 years old, and our oldest home sharer is 69. And our younger householder is 45, and our oldest householder is 102 this year.
Oh, wow. So it truly can be anyone. Could you talk about some of the successes that the service has had so far? You said it's been running for 10 years all over the country.
Absolutely, over 10 years, yes. Well, of course, one of the successes is the partnership with Cornwall Council, which we're absolutely delighted, and with the Voluntary Sector Forum. We have also been, we also an award winner HomeShare provider, and the only award winner HomeShare provider, which we're very, very proud of. We were awarded the Personalised Care Award from the NHS Southwest England. So that's, something that has been a great success in 2022.
I also would like to add, we have a target with Cornwall Council when we start the project together. Our project started end of February, but the actual marketing campaign starts September onwards. And from September onwards, we reach our target, over 20 matches, and they're all successful, and lots of people having benefit already in the area.
That's wonderful. It must be not only a really rewarding job for the people that are being matched, but it must be a rewarding job for you guys actually matching the participants.
Absolutely, yes.
We love our job, and it's so rewarding. Absolutely, thank you.
It definitely seems it. Do you both have your favourite story about how a match is going in Cornwall that you can share with us?
Well, yes, actually, a very recent one. Actually, I've matched this lovely lady, just over a month ago now, and she's in her 60s, so she's still very young and very independent, still physically independent, but she was suffering of extreme anxiety and panic attacks. And I even remember, on one occasion, I was on the phone with her and trying, to talk her through one of her episodes. And I matched, she was very, very down as well, suffering with depression. And I've matched her with a lovely, lovely lady in her early 30s. And of course, I'm really sorry, I can't mention the names for data protection. Obviously. And the home sharer is a student, and they actually have a lot in common, because the home sharer is actually studying to be what a householder has been in a professional life. So it was really a wonderful match. And I spoke to both of them last week to see how it's all going and how, if the arrangement is working for them. And one thing really actually made me very happy, because the householder said, Zaira, this is a match made in heaven. I don't remember I've laughed so much in the last 20 years of my life. And that really made my day.
That's absolutely wonderful. And Sybil, do you have any personal stories?
Yes, we do. I was actually in process with the householder's son who has no other choice, that he lives in abroad, and his mom alone, and his father sadly passed away, and he had to give up his job and come to look after his mom, and he's got his own family abroad. He was in the place that I heard that he was absolutely he has no other help, and then he was just saying, what can we do? How can we find? And I matched with a lovely lady, his mom, and it's been over 6 months now, and they're happily living, and he's got peaceful. He go back his family, and they're living. He can talk to mom, and when he come over visit, he doesn't have to worry that mom has got someone to eat together, not feeling lonely. Also look after the small things around the house. He can't help from abroad. So at the end of the day, that our families, our moms and dads are so important for us, and we want to make sure that they stay independently in their own home and get support, ongoing support in their latest life.
Yeah, just to expand on that a little bit. So it's not only just the recipient, but it is the recipient's families as well, because like you said, people can live abroad, they can live far away and not be able to be with their parent or carer or someone that they love. Do you see a lot of people being really thankful for that?
Absolutely. And as Sibel mentioned about the son of this specific householder being abroad, we do have actually lots of people calling us from all over. I'm dealing with someone in Germany at the moment and with someone in Australia who have their parents here, and they don't know what to do, because their parents need help, and then they come on holiday and they visit them, and all of a sudden they see that there is that they're more frail. They need someone there, because then they become so worried. And when you are in another country, it does worry you enormously, because that it's not just, you can't just get into the car and drive down and go and see your parents. So yes, the benefit, we always say, is almost like a domino effect benefit with the home share service, because it benefits everybody involved, family members, the householder, the home share, of course, directly, but then family members, social care services, the community, the whole community, the government itself, because as I said before, it's an extremely cost-effective service, and when used as a supplement with also a care package, the savings are actually quite great.
That's wonderful. And how would one apply to this service if they were looking into it? How would you apply to either be a home sharer or a householder?
Referrals are very simple and straightforward, and it's very easy. People just go to supportmatch.co.uk website, and we have application forms ready, and they can just submit their application forms, and then we receive, and then we contact them. So some cases they have some questions, they always call us, and the telephone numbers is available, and also we answer the daily, and then same day we just return the call and make sure all those individual questions are answered, and they go ahead and they satisfied about the applying home share and getting the best benefit.
Absolutely. It seems like a really, really easy match. And can people be referred, or do they have to just apply themselves?
Yes, I was actually going to add that. So yes, there's third parties involved always. We've got lots of social workers, GPs, social prescribers and any third parties, they can directly refer us, or again, the self-referral is most popular. People contact directly themselves when they hear us, and then they're curious, they want to know everything, and then they just ask information from us.
That sounds wonderful. So anything else that you would like to add that we've not discussed so far that we can have a talk about?
Well, maybe what we can say is, obviously, to every householder who would listen to us and every home sharer that is listening to us, is we assess every case individually. So we try to tailor the service as much as we can. So if you are a householder, you have a spare room and you do need a little bit of help around the house, and you feel like, to have someone overnight in the house would be greatly beneficial to you, please do contact us. We have a website, supportmatch.co.uk, and they can call us on our telephone number, which is 0203 633 0666. Sorry, 6066 actually. But yes, they can contact us anytime, no problem at all. And we were very happy to explain the service, to give, as Sibel said, to give all the answers that they might wish to have, and we're here to help.
Absolutely, and because this is done on such a case-by-case basis, everything, it must be very personalised to the client, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's why we get awards. We nominated and we get the award for that. We're so proud of that, because it's not like something matchmaking online and putting two people. We just go details and make sure that they happy, and each one's they have some common interest.
Absolutely, and it's really great that you can follow up with the clients as they kind of get to know each other and get to live together, because obviously there can sometimes be clashes in personality and things like that might not have come to a head initially. But how would you deal with that if that were to happen?
There are some, of course, it's not always the case that you have to get on with each other. So there's trial period first month, and we make sure that they are happy, and then they just understand each other. And so clashes happen with our parents, mom and dad, all the time. But as long as they know the boundaries and they respect each other, and they expectation is there, and it's obviously you can sort it out. Beginning is always difficult to having someone in life, and after first month's trial, you make sure all working, or if it's not working, we try to facilitate and then carry on the match, or we can just change the home sharers, because it's at the end of the day we are here to facilitate it. If it's not going to be solving, we just replace with another home sharers.
Wonderful, that makes so much sense, and it's great that you are kind of keeping an eye on things just to make sure it's the perfect match for everyone involved, families and all of that. Councillors Andy and Ollie, do you have anything else to share?
No, I'd just like to say, onwards and upwards with Supportmatch, with the home share scheme. It's really good that it got 22 people already involved. That's 22 people that we're not having to put in temporary and emergency accommodation. And it's 22 people that are not going to be lonely anymore. I'm going to have some companionship as well. So, if that figure can just keep going up and up and up, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that this is an important piece of the jigsaw in terms of helping to keep our residents independent, living well into their later life. We're not going to be able to deliver this whole service through professionals because the demand's just too huge. So we all have to play our role with whether that's being a carer ourselves, with looking after members of our family, but it's being a supportive neighbour, it's being a volunteer working in adult social care. And so this home share scheme is just a brilliant part are that jigsaw of being a really sort of supportive and caring community here in Cornwall.
Definitely. And finally, to each of you, what is Supportmatch HomeShare in your own words?
Well, Supportmatch HomeShare is a mutual beneficial exchange, helping people to help each other within the whole community.
Wonderful. And Sybil?
I can say intergenerational exchange and living together. It's just the best benefit for the community.
Wonderful. And what's your favourite part about Supportmatch?
What, mine? I'll say. I just think it's a really good way of connecting different generations of people and getting them to sort of coexist as a community and get them back together and with a positive outcome for both partners.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and amazing to have this conversation with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.